right, so we are streaming in five, four, three, two,
And we back.
and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. Yeah, and we back. Think It Out Loud podcast. It's your boy Jay Lip. You already know what this is. You know who I am. TOLPcast.com. Hashtag TOL. Instagram, Twitter, and all them shits. And like I said, we back. Let's dive straight into it. We got the homies in the building. We got my brother Levi. Levi, different mother but different father. What's good, baby? How you living?
What's good, man?
What's good? Glad you could
Yes,
join
sir.
us.
Life is good. Let's get it.
Let's get it. And we back. And of course, I also had to bring in the other homie, the knowledgeable man, the classic man, JG, formerly known as, but now we just calling him Homie G. G, what's good, baby? How you living?
I'm good, man. Can't complain.
All
I'm
right.
good.
We blessed and highly favored, I'm assuming, everybody? Yes? Are we blessed and highly favored? Blessed, black, and highly favored? Just black? What?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
Right.
Okay,
for
well, let's
sure.
get to it. Shout out to my wife, Mrs. Lip, who graciously gave up her seat so that the men could get to the shits and deliver what y'all need, which is this discussion on Jemele Hill and ESPN. First and
Love
foremost,
you.
I want to say the woman is beautiful to me. I've seen a lot of hate out there that say that, Jemele Hill ain't, she ain't looking top tier, she's not a five-star general. But to me, beautiful young lady, she done a thing as far as sports journalism. I wanted to approach this topic with a certain sense of respect for her as an individual, as basically someone who broke through what I consider to be the glass ceiling when it comes to sports journalism, of being on for so long with such outrageous, as some would say, perspective and opinions that she shared through social media, through her platform, many of which she's had. And I was sad to hear that she and ESPN decided to part ways. Reason being, because we all know that when a company parts ways with an employee, it's probably due to some irreconcilable differences. Now, congrats to her for getting that check, and I see Levi shaking his head. No, let me get my monologue out real quick. Uh, well, shit, go ahead. What's the problem with the point I just made?
You're just saying that. No, finish making your point.
Okay,
Finish.
so I feel like irreconcilable differences. She wanted to move in one direction, they wanted to move in another, and when you get broke off contractually, like she has, which is reported to be, I believe, $6 million payout, she may have came out on top, depending on what her next venture would be. But I want to focus this discussion on the why. So, why do you believe that ESPN and Jemele Hill have split, parted ways? I consider it her being fired with a amicable agreement, but you call it what you want to. What you think, Levi?
I think that she didn't get fired. It's just that, or well, I guess you could say that, but she got bought out because she got the big contract when they moved right before they moved to the six. Right before the six was about a year and a half ago now. Right before that launch. So since she got the big contract, the six didn't work out because the people that hired her to do the six, her and Mike, to do the six, they got canned about 6 months into it. Then the new people came in and they was like, "Nah, you can't be being all black and being you is Sports Center in prime time. That's not what the people want. That's not what they need." So I said it from the beginning. I could see it that their personality didn't work in that time slot. I had concerns. I've been a fan of them since 2011, 2012, heavy, maybe even before then. And so their persona at that time would garner too much attention, and it did. And then the audience at that time is not an audience that would watch them. And so the ratings went down, and then the new people came in, and then they wanted to make it Sports Center, and they didn't sign up for Sports Center. They signed up to do
Hold
their
on.
own thing.
I'm seeing a head shake
So
real quick. I'm gonna let you cook. I see a head shake. Gotta
yeah,
let the homie G jump in. What you got to say, G?
No, I think it was different. They actually they from when the show started, ratings went up. They were doing pretty good with the content initially because ratings were starting to drop for Sports Center. It was always on a decline, and then their show, it was already on a decline. Sports Center was, and then their show came in at that time slot. So I think overall, if you take that sample size for itself, they actually did pretty well. The reason I think personally that she is I don't think she got fired. I think this whole thing is because of the comments that she made publicly, right, surrounding Donald Trump. And ESPN chose in that moment to cater not to allow for an employee of theirs to have freedom of speech on her own personal Twitter account, right? She didn't say any of this stuff on on the show or on an ESPN network. She said all this stuff on a public platform, which is Twitter, right? But ESPN chose to side with the people who support Donald Trump, essentially, right? And so with that, there was backlash from both sides, and I'm sure Jemele Hill and her representatives were just like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this organization anymore. And so a deal was, they started working it out to part ways amicably. That's how I see it.
I agree. I've had that mentality from jump, and I mean, Levi, it's a fucking video. You can speak out if you disagree. Just jump in.
Oh no,
It's
no,
thinking
that's
out
not. The
loud.
ratings were.
You thinking in your
I watched the
head.
ratings the whole time. The ratings were not year over year. Were down consistently. Now they had some high spots like the day after the Super Bowl and stuff like that, but they were down consistently. The audience at that point is typically people working 9 to 5, which would typically be your middle class, middle of the road, largely middle.
Did you compare those ratings to the Sports Center ratings before, though? You get my point? Because ESPN in general has been struggling.
Down. It was Sports Center. You're right, and Sports Center was already going down itself. It wasn't like Sports Center was doing fabulous numbers. Otherwise, they would have left well enough alone and left them on his and hers. But when you put them, here's my thing: when you put them on at 6, you're turning it from people have been conditioned that when they get off, they're going to come home, they're going to get the sports highlights. It might be less people because of you can get it on your phone and you got other avenues to get it through now. But that's what people have been conditioned to do. Turn pop TV on ESPN. Now you also had the little running tab of the topics and stuff like that. And so when you got it playing in public places like bars and stuff like that, they can kind of know what's going on sports wise. Well, when you put the 6 on, you don't have that. You're selling a personality. So you can't sell a personality at a bar. Why? Because people can't hear the damn TV. So that's not the time. That was the wrong time to put them on. It was just a bad time. And also on that, they tried to make them do a lot more Sports Center thing and try to diversify their range outside of their comfort zone. And when you get them outside of their element, they can't function as good. You could see the soul being taken away. When it went from when it got to his and hers, you could kind of see his and hers eventually became more, as the program got more successful, they infused more of their personality. They did stuff like put stuff on the end, like the last spot, like doing too much, stuff like that. They didn't have that in the beginning, but as the ratings started to go up, they got more freedom and more creativity. But you translate that creativity onto the 6, that's not what was getting ratings at that time slot. So now you got them trying to go back and doing Sports Center and doing their own thing, and you sold them on the idea that they would be able to be themselves at 6 o'clock, and it was going to be this big revolutionary thing. Now, the people that sold them again, they got fired, so they never really got a chance to. They got fired like in the summer, so like this time last year. So when they got fired,
let me point out too that time slot, their show was flames. Like it was easily the best thing on. Yes.
but you're
Like,
not the main one watching it.
Hold on,
right,
hold on,
right.
hold on.
I didn't mind it. I like the show too, but we're not the show's based off ratings. And last time I checked, black people only 13% of the population.
Right,
What
right.
about in
Wow.
Iowa? What about Montana? What about Idaho? They ain't trying to
Right.
see that.
What up, Idaho?
Hmm?
I said, "What up, Idaho, Montana, Wisconsin?" So I want to
Right,
shout
right.
out. We got somebody in the audience. Marcel said that's why they took a chance based off of a previous comment that was made about the popularity of of basically the show and the energy. But I guess hearing from y'all's perspective, it sounds like Levi, you would align yourself to think that she should have been, let's say, for lack of better terms, terminated prior to this agreement. She should have been terminated based off of how her words affected the business, because the conversation that I've had with numerous individuals has been basically she's an employee and of the company. If you make statements that are deemed to affect the bottom line, the profitability of said network, then you basically are turning from an asset to a liability. Is that correct?
No, I'm not gonna say she should have been terminated. She should have never got the position in the first place. That was the wrong
Damn.
spot for them. I
Damn.
called it out. No, not because of her talent, just
Damn.
at that time for their audience that don't work. They're not trying to watch black people be black and do different world renditions and stuff like that. That's not what they're trying to see. I'm not trying. I like it. I like it. So, but I ain't most of America.
But that's
Eh,
not what the show was. That's what's throwing me off is because like I watched that show and it was they really I think the content was on point. Like they had a good mix of everything. You know, black people most black people don't care about baseball. No, who cares about baseball anymore? Like
Yeah,
let's
but
be
they
real.
had to do baseball highlight because the bosses made them. So they
Yeah, that's
eventually
what
it
I'm
started
saying.
out initially
So
that
they
they
were
did
able
their
to
own.
combine traditional sports center with their content. I actually think they did a really good job. Like they were able to do them while still catering to in a traditional sense what sports center was.
That's a good point.
And it
That's a good
didn't
point.
work. They didn't. They might have did a good job because you're a personal fan. I'm a personal fan of them. I didn't say I hated the show and then I watched it, but it wasn't. You could tell they wasn't happy if you've been like I listened to their podcast too. So I listened to almost every podcast they made. I might
Mm,
have missed literally one. So on their podcast, you could see behind the scenes they was not happy. You could see, and I could see it on the screen on
right.
Jemele because
Yeah.
Jemele, one of the people, if she don't get to express herself, she is not gonna be decent. She ain't gonna just sit back. Mike can hold his tongue a little bit better, but so
Well,
yeah, they were
we
doing
ain't
their
talking
thing.
about Mike. We talking about Jamel, and again, a great background and great perspective as far as the content. But my question is relating it more so to the macro level of freedom of speech, which is what Jamel
Hmm.
Hill exercised, versus ESPN representing a big business. Who was right or who was wrong in this situation? And I'm gonna jump in there, just throw my hat in the ring, cause y'all some wordy motherfuckers tonight. So I'm gonna make sure that I just get my little 2 cents in. I believe ESPN was wrong because what they've done is show that basically they can institute censorship based off of their business model, which to me, if you are a network that is so pro, you know, individual perspective on sports, right?
Diversity.
Yeah, diversity, all that stuff. But then you want to terminate your relationship with a correspondent based off of their personal opinion on their personal social media from their personal experience in their life. That to me doesn't vibe well. I think that they set a really bad precedent here, and anyone who is to be hired in her stead should be wary of the fact and be known that this is how they get down. If they don't fuck with what you saying, then they'll excuse you off the premises. So that's not a
No,
good thing to me, because to me, freedom of speech extends further than just you can say what you want and the police won't arrest you or you can't be prosecuted. I'm sorry, George. Am I boring you? You yawn
My
big as
bad.
hell on the camera, man. Take a nap, nigga. Now, my thing is, like I said, it just sets a bad precedent, man. Freedom of speech. She should be able to say what she want. I think George, you brought up
Let
something.
me ask you this though, right?
Go
Like
ahead.
does the president have freedom of speech though? Like for real? Like he's a regular American, right? I'm not even talking about Donald Trump, just the general office of the presidency, right? Like do
Well,
do, do
Donald
they
Trump
have
is
freedom of speech, right? Because they're what they say and what it affects is completely different. And so like when you're in a certain position, right? When you're in a certain position, there are certain things you can say and can't say. Now, I'm not saying this to be like uh 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 Jemele Hill couldn't say what she wanted to say about Donald Trump. But
Well, she couldn't though. I mean, she called him a white
not as the face of
supremacist.
ESPN. No, you can't do that as the face of ESPN.
yeah,
They made they knew who they were. This ain't nothing new. They saw pictures of them taking pictures with Obama twice while they were on his and hers. They knew what it was. They knew what it was, and yet you
right,
decide to make them the face of ESPN, and then get mad when they act like that. How they act. This
right,
you can't be surprised. So that's ESPN fault for putting them in that position. And then now, granted, Jamele's in that position. It's kind of hard. She kind of like I'm gonna do what got me here. And now
right.
you asking her to change. That's kind of that's yeah, that's kind
Yeah,
of
no, I agree with
dirty. Like
that. I
So,
agree
you
with
asking her to do like she like I'm gonna keep doing what got me here. I was outspoken. I spoke
yep,
my mind. I spoke
yep,
my piece. I did all of this.
yep, yep.
Now I do say the face of ESPN. You don't want them alienating half of the country or more than half, because now you're offending not only the people that supported Trump, but also the people that are neutral that may not have voted for Trump,
right.
but
That's
they
what
don't want to turn
ESPN
on TV
messed up.
and hear about politics.
Go ahead,
They
Jay.
don't
Right.
ever want to hear about that. They just want to hear the
I'm
sports and
saying
then move on with their life.
I was saying like that point is valid and it's cool. Like ESPN messed up the moment they came out and almost made it seem like they chose the opposite side. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like
mm.
the optics of it all didn't make it seem like, you know, uh
Yeah,
as the as a the optics of it all didn't make it seem like, hey, as a representative of ESPN, we do not want you speaking on these types of issues because
Right.
you represent us and we have a whatever base and whatever diverse base or whatever. From that perspective, I get that. My only question though is I don't have the facts to back this up, but I have a feeling like this was said prior that other analysts on the network had expressed their views before without
and
any
they got
repercussions.
fired. Like Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling is on the right, is a Republican.
Okay.
He posted pictures of saying like, "How would you feel if your daughter walked in the bathroom with this?" And it was like a disgusting looking something tranny something.
Whoa,
I ain't
whoa,
know.
whoa, whoa,
It
whoa.
was. It
No, I'm
was. Look
saying
at.
you say what it was so the people can understand.
I don't know what it was. It was like a tranny or something.
Wow,
I
what
don't
it
know.
was? Oh
No,
man,
I'm serious. I don't know
it was
what that was. If you saw
a
that,
person, a
you
person.
wouldn't know that's man. I don't know what the hell that is.
Okay, a person.
Right.
So
Okay.
he,
So
he
that's what it was. He got fired for that.
He got fired for that. Now the difference is he ain't the face of the organization,
Okay.
but he got canned for
Yeah.
that. So and he ain't getting no $6 million buyout. Granted, people ain't checking for baseball like that. But so
Right.
ESPN wants to be like kind of out of politics. They don't want to get too involved either on the left or the right. So
yeah,
of
yeah.
course, when people say they it's like they going liberal. When people Jamel punish, oh, they going conservative. They're not going either one. They just don't want to. They ain't trying to lose fans. They
Yeah,
need both
and I
liberals and conservatives.
and
They
I
need
get you,
Right.
everybody
and I get you,
get along.
but my issue is you can't tell ESPN to keep politics out of their broadcast when politics is a part of sports now. That's my issue. Politics has made itself present in sports. Donald Trump is calling out athletes by name, calling them all type of sons of bitches and dumbasses and everything else. So if the president of the country in which all of these networks and all of these sports teams play in is basically calling them out, injecting political views into their actions, then it's the responsibility as a journalist for ESPN's correspondents to speak on it. It's a part
Yep,
of the
Agreed,
game
they
but
call,
now.
but they call themselves journalists. They're sports journalists, and with that comes a certain standard of you to tell the truth, tell the full story. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
but
It's
that's not what Jamel did. She called him. She blatantly name called him.
but I'm
She
s-
didn't.
but the
She
president
didn't come
did
out with
too.
like
But
this
the
was in poor taste or something like that. She blatantly called him a white supremacist.
but she said
I ain't
what she
saying I
felt.
disagree.
But where's
No,
the
no, no.
lie, though?
Thank you. That's my point. Is she said what she felt, just like Trump said what he felt. He's at the
Yeah,
highest
but it's not
position.
a platform to express necessarily
Dog,
like
I'm
your
so
political
tired of people
opinion.
saying it's not the platform because they say the same thing about the kneeling. This ain't the platform. If you want to protest, do it on your own
Right.
time. Bitch, this is my own time. I'm getting paid millions of dollars to run up and down this field for your entertainment. This is my platform because if I do it at
Listen,
home,
there's
no one cares. And I always say this example. If Rosa Parks would have sat on her couch, no one would have given a damn. But she had to sit at the front of the bus and cause disruption to the status quo to affect change. So with that
Right,
being,
but Rosa Parks ain't messing with nobody pocketbooks.
she could be
ESPN
messing with the
paying, not paying
pocketbooks.
somebody they
That's
and
not
money
true,
going out the window.
Levi.
Not
That's
paying
not
no.
them.
true. That's
Listen,
not
this
true
is
because she
this
could
is the
mess with
only
the.
thing I'll say is there. Hold on. There comes a time. Like I understand what you're saying, but there's a there's a business model out there where ESPN, right, can stay true to whoever these analysts or journalists are and still make money. Like I mean, there's Fox does it. Fox has got
Yup.
Shannon and Shannon
To a
Sharp,
point. To a
huh?
point. To a point.
Yeah,
Shannon ain't
they've
come
got
out the Whitlock
Shannon
when
Sharp
Whitlock
out
said
there
that
talking
coon
about.
shit.
Hold on,
Okay.
they've got Shannon Sharp out
Let,
there
let,
talking
let
about
me address that real
his,
quick, George. Let me address
huh?
that what he just said about how Shannon didn't say anything about Whitlock. I want to make it clear. Shannon has come out though in the same breath as talking about his personal political views in certain instances, specifically when it comes to the NFL and kneeling. Now, with Whitlock is different because I think that's a conflict of interest within the network. But externally, he has definitely been a
Fair
critic.
enough.
So I
Fair
would
enough.
understand if you said Jamil was basically talk giving her negative opinion about a colleague, but to give a negative opinion about the status quo of the sports or the response of the country to the sports industry right now, that's well within her right as and it's her responsibility as an honest and fair journalist, in my opinion, because we're a part of her entertainment is her opinion. 1,000 people, 1 million people, 10 million people in this world got an opinion, but for some reason, she's the one that's getting paid to share hers. So that means something. And I feel like when we come at people that are on platforms and we tell them, well, this isn't the place, this isn't the time, again,
Look,
it's exactly the
but
place.
she's getting paid to share her opinions in regards to sports, not in
And
regards to political.
politics is in sports, bro.
No, but there
They're
comes
one
a
that,
Yeah,
time where you like there. I get what you're saying, but again, we are in like throw all that stuff out the window right now. The times that we are in right now, everything is extreme, which means that you need people to ground certain situations. Like if that's she just called a spade a spade. Honestly, like that's what she did. She didn't do anything to me that was out of pocket. And to say that what she's doing is affecting ESPN's pocketbooks or whatever, like I'm not buying that just
yeah.
because there are
They
other
people, the
major
ratings
hold on,
went
let him
down.
cook,
What
let
are
him
you
cook,
talking
wait,
about?
but
let him
You're not
cook.
mad
there
at
are other
less
major
for
hold
watching.
on, there are other major networks, right? Like Fox, okay. Fox right now, like Skip Bayless left ESPN and went to Fox, ratings
Yeah,
through the roof. Through the roof.
right.
You get what I'm
But
saying? It's the same
yes,
type
but
of
it's still
content.
nothing. It's still 1/3 of what ESPN is. Their best person, 1/3 of people watch what ESPN. ESPN is still by far the number one dominant sports network. No, I'm not saying I'm big fans of Shannon and Skip. I prefer to watch Undisputed over First Take. But that being said,
But Undisputed's
oh,
ratings is
hold
better
on,
than First Take. That's a
hold on for a moment.
Leave, leave, the big bro Levi, he got kids.
Hold
So
on,
I'm gonna jump in here for a second.
hold on.
This is the most interesting live stream I think we've ever had, ladies and gentlemen. Inside the home of Big Bro Levi. Now we looking at okay, see the bathroom for all of those that are listening. We see the bathroom got a towel up. I hope it's clean. Got a little
My
brown stain on it.
3-year-old.
Couple brown stains I
He's
saw.
shut up. My
Anyway, my point of all of this is to say, and it sounds like we are in agreement that tilt it down, bro. We don't need to see all that chest right now. Just tilt it up a little bit now. There you
shut
go.
up.
There you go. My point in all this was to say that I stand with Jemele Hill. I stand against what ESPN has decided to do, but I'm interested to see what the fallout is going to be because, again, these are the types of decisions that set precedences. So, again, moving forward,
He got paid.
huh?
I think they both get what they want for real.
I don't know because, to Levi's point, ESPN is the pinnacle of sports journalism currently. So for her to get 6 million and leave, I can't really think of a better alternative where she could say, "I'm going to take my talent." There's no South Beach for her to take her talents to, in
Well,
my
she got
opinion.
paid to be quiet too now.
Okay. And that's valid and maybe necessary. And also would be interested to see does she have to sign a non-compete clause where she can't go to Fox Sports or any other competitor? Does she have to start her own network? Maybe some online YouTube channel shit. Like her options are limited now. Granted, she did get a payout.
Usually, you got to wait a certain period of time.
No, I'm saying we don't. I'm just saying. I'm speculating and saying I still feel like that's a voice that was necessary. She had the guts to speak on it. She shared her opinion, but she is being penalized ultimately, in my opinion, and that's all I got to say about it. I'm Team Jamel. I'm Team freedom of speech. If the president can do it, everybody should be able to do it. And I'm that. That's all I got to say about it. I'll let y'all close it out before I transition to our final topic.
That's fair. I agree with that.
Okay, Levi, you agree with with the homie?
Uh, yeah, yeah, I can. I
Oh,
mean,
that's so sweet. Clap it up for Levi. Got the applause going for your boy. All right, now rest in peace, rest in paradise, and rest in pettiness. John McCain, former Senator John McCain. Want
be
to
respected.
definitely. I'm being respectful. I said rest in peace, rest in paradise, and rest in pettiness. John McCain, rest in peace. Salute to the guy. Good man for all intents and purposes from most opinions. However, I'm seeing a shaking head. He's not a good guy. G, what was good?
No.
Oh,
I
okay,
just finished.
okay.
Finished already.
So basically, I'm setting up the alley oop at this point. I want to close this episode out talking about the fact that McCain made a block list similar to Facebook, similar to Instagram and Twitter, where he made a block list of who can and can't come to his funeral. Now, in my opinion, when you gone, you gone. Okay?
Unless
Anybody can pull up. Anybody can pull up because you ain't got no smoke. Your smoke is done. You literally cannot produce smoke. You in paradise up there with Jesus with your feet hanging off the pearly gates. You're just watching the shit show play out on earth. So as we continue to live this life in hopes to reach where he's at, I feel that it's a little petty as your dying, I don't want to say dying wish, but in his final moments or whenever he made the decision to say, I don't want this nigga at my funeral, that was petty. I've never heard of such things being documented, and it just seems to me like if you know your time is limited, you got precious moments left, why give energy to somebody? Why even give energy or effort to say, no, you can't come to my funeral? Like, it just seems childish. What y'all think?
Is it energy and effort though? To me, that's really the I respect it. That's how I feel about it. I respect it because the man was disrespectful to a whole nother level. I mean, I don't agree with John McCain on all his
Anything?
political.
Anything? Damn near? That's what basically everybody's saying. Don't people
Not
basically
not
saying,
not anything. Not anything, but most things.
okay, most.
Most things I don't agree with him politically on. But like I think everybody would agree, like a war hero like that and the sacrifices that he made, like, his own body, putting his own body on the line, not for selfish reasons, but for other people. He had the opportunity to walk away free because of who he was and refuse to go unless they let other people that were captive, being held
Prisoners of war.
captive.
Yeah, prisoners of
Yeah,
war.
also let go. That's a brave man. And for Donald Trump to say something like that, that's just disrespectful to a whole nother level. And so, like, to disrespect this man's legacy, it shows to me how firm he was in his beliefs. And honestly, you have to respect that. You have to respect people who are unapologetically themselves, whether you agree with them or not.
All
And
right.
so, fuck Donald Trump.
All right, so I'm not, well, that's funny too. Let's drop a bomb for that. I'm not laughing at your point of view, man. I'm laughing at the fact that this nigga Levi look like he's shooting a '90s R&B music video the way he been moving his camera around. Levi, if you don't get your damn face on the screen, stop showing your chest. God damn. All
Shut
right.
up, man.
So, listeners of the podcast, please be thankful you ain't catch us live.
I had it
Uh,
still, but then I had to move
Shit just slid
for my
down
little
to the
point.
chest and the little chest hairs. I'm like, dog, I didn't want to interrupt because you was cooking, G. So you said you wanted to end it with you wanted to end in your perspective with fuck Donald Trump. And now, G, what's going on with your screen, bro? G is actually a ghost. He is a ghost right now. Um, Levi, I'm gonna let you
There
take
you
this
go.
opportunity to rebut. Levi, what do you think about rest in pettiness, Representative Senator John McCain?
Rest in peace to McCain. Best wishes to the McCain family and whatnot. Um, to me, he is his personal decision. McCain was a man. Now, I didn't always agree with him politically, just as G said. But with that being said, he seemed to be, by all accounts to me, I don't know him personally, an honorable person. And
Okay.
in politics, I take the person over the politics. So um, that being said, he was respectful. He defended Obama when people tried to assassinate his character, and when people tried to call him like an Arab and things like that, and or they tried to make racist remarks, things like that. He's like, no, he's a family man. He's an honorable man. It's just a political. We just have political disagreements, things like that. So um, that to me, he's been the most. He's been very honorable in his personal and in his personal opinion. uh, Donald Trump, he didn't agree with some of the things that he did personally. Nothing to do with outside of the political, just the political arena. And so those wishes is what his wishes are. And personally, I could see how it could be taken as petty, but I don't personally have a problem with him.
Okay.
Obviously, I see.
You know who is the polar opposite of what John McCain did?
I know
Is
the polar opposite is you right now because your video is not showing. So you're a ghost in a sunken place. We can still hear you from the other
I
side of
have
the
I
from.
have the video up.
Let's see, Levi. Are we
There you
looking
go.
at a ghost? You see it?
I was just back up now.
All right. So go ahead,
All right.
G.
Yeah, what I was saying was the polar opposite of what John McCain is and showed by not inviting Donald Trump to his funeral is Ted Cruz. I don't know if you remember, but on the campaign trail, uh, uh, Donald Trump straight up dissed Ted Cruz's dad and called him he was one of the people to assassinate Abraham Lincoln or something like that, and then straight up dissed his wife, right? Like he called his wife ugly. And this dude is walking around Texas right now begging for Donald Trump to come campaign for him. Like, I don't know about any of y'all, but like, there's no way someone would diss my wife and call her ugly. Like, and you out here just like on this dude's nuts. Like,
So just to be clear, y'all both would not allow someone that you have disdain for in this world to come to your funeral. Yes or no?
nope, nope.
You
Not
would
that much.
you
I
would
would put it in my wish.
so y'all would document the shit. Okay, all right. I'm gonna leave it there for now. I'm gonna see how this plays out because I'm gonna revisit this topic after the actual funeral occurs to see if Trump, being the man he is, who don't give a damn about nothing, steps into that funeral stunting. He just gonna be doing the Harlem Shake down the aisle, all the way to the casket. Like, yeah, nigga.
Shake that wig off.
There we go. Um, now, like I said before, man, appreciate two intelligent and intellectual brethren. I want to give y'all opportunity to say y'all piece in closing out. Again, everybody watching, we appreciate it. Not sure what happened again. I believe that G was sucked into the sunken place because there is literally a ghost image showing, but we can
I
hear
see him.
you see him, but I don't see him, and I know the people don't see him. So it actually adds more depth and interest and mystique to this episode. The fact that he just looks like a ghost right now. So when y'all see the playback, you'll see what the fuck I'm talking about. In the meantime, let's go ahead and wrap this shit up. Final words, Ghost, or rather, Spirit. G. Go ahead.
Final words is
Final words. Go ahead.
Jamil Hill made the right decision to be herself. She
Okay.
has done great things in her career and will continue to do so.
Agreed.
And John McCain's decision, I agree with completely. Stand your ground, even through through death. He's a real one. That's how I would put it.
Disagree. All right. Absolutely wrong on the last point. Levi, what you got?
Rest in peace, McCain. Rest in peace, Aretha Franklin. Rest in peace. Best wishes to the families of both of those, and rest in peace to all of those that have transitioned to the afterlife, and best wishes for their families if you lost someone recently. And then in regards to the Jemele Hill, get that money, and I hope to see you on another network soon.
All right, and then also just to make sure that everyone's clear, these are guests, the views and opinions expressed on the TOL podcast, Thinking Out Loud, are incorrect at times, and my opinion is what is fact. And therefore, I will say, Jemele Hill, we ride with you. ESPN, kick rocks in traffic, and Senator McCain, prayers and condolences to the fam. Don't be petty up in heaven. God don't like ugly. This is Thinking Out Loud, TOL podcast. Your boy J Lip, the homie Levi, the bro G, and we out.
We out.
Peace.
Y'all can't. We can't never say it in unison. This is a problem. It's unison. It's a family affair. We say and we out. And I feel like you know what? See, that's what's wrong
Shut
with the
up, man.
culture. That's what's wrong with black people.